so nice to be here this morning. We're very excited about getting started off with our Kids of Character for the year 2012-2013. So this morning we're going to recognize students for cooperation in each of our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classes. So we're very excited about that. Let's go ahead and start with 3rd grade. We have Andrew Tano in Mrs. Almonte's class, Sage Pasternak in Mrs. Benson's class, Ryan McDonough in Mrs. Cochran's class, James David in Mrs. Del Castillo's class, Cassandra Castro in Mrs. Jackson's class, Eitan Ravon in Miss Moy's class, Kayla Gates in Mrs. Stark's class, and absent this morning, Marie Harlan from Mr. Caruso's class. Let's give our 3rd graders a big hand. Great job. Let's move on to our 4th graders. In 4th grade, we have Maia Cabanas in Mrs. Castillo's class.
Yay, Maya.
Alexandria Kronfeld in Mrs. Harmel's class. Christian Mangos in Mrs. Kaufman's class. Sarah Slan in Mrs. Lee's class.
Yay, Sarah.
Jordan Bartell in Mrs. Mesa's class.
Yay.
Whitney Tillinghast in Mrs. Stevens' class. And absent this morning is Diana Sikolim from Mrs. Zide's class. Let's give our 4th graders a big hand.
Yay.
And in 5th grade, we would like to recognize Melissa Rodriguez from Mrs. Ford's class, Kristen Mack from Miss Help's class, Alexandra Sanson in Mrs. Catharetti's class, Julia Safran in Mrs. Love's class, Danielle Marks in Mrs. Raiderstorff's class,
So cute.
Funny how that's all
and
girls.
absent this morning,
Cooperation.
Alexandra Miller
Wait,
from
don't
Mrs.
go down.
Jardine's class, Brandon Amberg from Mrs. Quintana's class, and Jake Nardzicki from Mrs. Taylor's class. Let's give our 5th graders a big hand.
I love you.
They did a
Love
beautiful
you.
job.
Have a good day.
We're very proud of the students being recognized for cooperation. They're working together to accomplish a common purpose, and that's a really important character education trait to show each day. Tomorrow,